Hey guys, what is going on? I am doing some adjustments in my garage. As you can tell, it is very quiet in here. The rigs are all off. The fans are off. I got some rigs in that closet there you guys have seen before. That's just to keep the dust out. Little filter there. Little mess of wires. This is just a little air filter that I put up so that all this pollen, there's lots of poplars in this area, and they get lots of pollen flying through the air, and it just gets sucked right into that bottom little server case right there. So you can actually see here, I can just like pull some of this off of here. Look, there's just like pollen everywhere, this fluff. You can see on the floor here, I got some cloths here to kind of catch some of it. Look at this, there's just like clouds of this stuff. It's insane. So that stops it there. But the issue that I'm having in the garage is over here. Right at the fuse box. How this is run, there is a 20 amp in the middle here. And then two 15s that run the lights on the side and some plugs in the garage. Then a 20 amp in the middle, but this 20 amp is on the fritz. I can't even run. So this is 20 amp, 240 volt. I can't hardly even run more than 2000 watts to that without it tripping. So I got myself a 30 amp plug. Here is the 30 amp plug. This is a super old Federal Pioneer. They hardly don't sell these at the stores anymore. But I managed to find a guy who's an electrician in town who says every time he sees these things in stock, he buys all of them. Because he does some electrician's work, and then that way he has some stock. And he also sells them, so I actually got a pretty good price on this thing. It was about the same price that I'd pay in a store anyways. And he met me much closer than the store was, so it was okay. So this is going to go on there. Power's already off from the house to this breaker box. So it should be good to go. I'm going to pop out this old one here, put this new one in, and then what that will do actually is allow me to run everything out here on 240 volts on the PDU. I've only got 4 rigs out here, so it's not a ton of power. But right now, because this old 20 amp, I have it split between the 20 amp and the 15 amp. So this will allow me to put all the mining rigs just on this one, and then free up those other plugs. If I'm running, there's only 30 amp out to the garage here, so if I am running a bunch of like tools or whatever, I'll just shut some rigs down just to be on the safe side. But now I don't have to worry about this thing tripping, so let's pop this thing out and see how it works. There we have it. New breaker is in. It's got the nice green tabs on it. For whatever reason, that will actually just help identify it nice and easy. So 30 amp in the middle there. And then we've got the new wiring that we ran in here, big heavy duty wiring going over to the 30 amp PDU. I need to go flick the power on in the house and then come in here and flip the breakers, and hopefully everything works well. Let's give it a shot. It's looking good, everything fired up. I just shut this one back off because it is actually split partway between 240 and 120 volt power. So I'm going to move this all back into this PDU right there. We'll get the full thing on 240. And this little server case down here is actually running on 120 right now. So I've got a different plug here. This guy right here. We will get that plug back into the PDU, which is over here. So in total, I'm going to have 4 computers running off of this thing. I'm going to plug them all in and see how it works. Everything is up and running. Got the 6 cards. Those are all LHR cards, which don't really matter anymore because they work as full hash. One thing I'm curious about that I actually haven't looked into are these 3060 Ti cards, if they are as efficient as the full hash versions. So with these LHR versions, I'm still getting 58 to 61 mega hash depending on the card. Most of them seem to do about 59-ish, but they're doing it at like 130 watts. Off the top of my head, I can't remember. It's not 110, it's more like 130, 140. So they're a lot less efficient than a 3070. So I'm wondering if the full hash versions of these are more efficient than the light hash versions. But I don't know. I've got quite a few of them actually. I don't have any of the original models. They're all LHR versions. But there we have it. So far it looks good. My rigs are all up and running. The 30 amp breaker seems okay. All of these rigs are now on the PDU, which is right there. Now there's 2 more rigs in this little closet here to keep the dust down. It is an absolute mess of wires because this is just a garage. You see there, I got the lawnmower, some wires on there. You check this out. I've got this little wireless access point router here. So what I do for my rigs out here is this hooks onto my router, my Wi-Fi in the house, and then it acts as an extender for it, and then I wire into here and then hardwire into all the computers. So that's how I can get 4 computers out here. I don't plan on having these out here all summer. I'm gonna have to move them somewhere because it gets really hot in this garage. And what I'm doing for heat is I've got that box fan up in the roof that pulls air out. So that blows the hot air out of this room and into the attic, and then that goes out the soffits. But I don't think this thing moves enough air anymore. These cheap box fans kind of slow down after some time. That one's been running for about a year, so I think it's about ready to die. I might replace that with something that does more like 6,000 CFM. I know Home Depot up here sells a good one. That's what I use in my basement to get all the air out. It does about 6,000 CFM. It's about a $50, $60 fan, I think. Way more heavy duty than this, so I might replace that. And if it works well, I can keep this as my winter air thing, because it gets pretty hot in here in the winter as well. So if I just keep this for the winter on low, could be good, and then I could swap that out to the high CFM fan in the summer and see if I can keep the temps down. Otherwise, I'll have to probably move 2 of these rigs out of here because it gets up to like 40 degrees in this garage. But that's what I got for today. A little bit of repairs, a little bit of maintenance on the old electrical panel. Everything seems okay though. Thanks for watching, guys. I probably won't be putting out too many videos, but I will keep you along the journey. I've had a couple things going on. We'll see about updating it. Always growing the mine. Take it easy, guys.